time. Flavia, karibu sana from the US, Flavia. And so I want to be able to honor your time. And so I promise to do the same even today. So quickly, guys, Flavia from the US, who else is here? Who has tuned in? Please come on in and let me know where you are tuning from. I just want to give you a quick shout out. That's all. Your girl wants to give you a shout out. Now, the class is going to be interactive. Nancy joining from Kenya. Yes, Nancy. Where in Kenya exactly are you? And Flavia, by the way, you're in the US. Where exactly in the US are you? I'd love to know, like, what state are you in? So just throw that in there. Nancy from Roiro. Hey, Nancy. Karibu sana. Welcome, welcome. Excited to have you on. Mercy from Kenya, Nairobi. Mercy, you and I are in Nairobi. Karibuni sana. Welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you being here. Today is the last part of the masterclass. Celine from Kericho. Karibu sana, Celine. I'm excited to have you. And for those of you guys who are on Instagram, if you want to hop on, come to Zoom, where we're going to be showing everything on PowerPoint presentation. Would love to have you come on over. Ivy from Nairobi. Ivy, I think you were here yesterday. Ivy, yes. Ivy, I remember you. Ivy from Nairobi. Karibu. Yes, Ivy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, guys. So thank you. Florence from Naivasha. Florence, karibu sana. You know, Naivasha I've always found it to be very calm and very cool. All right. Caroline from Kiambu, my neighbor. Caroline, karibu sana. So guys, thank you. How many of you were here yesterday? If you were here yesterday, just put the number 1. If you are not, just put the number 2, just so that I can have an idea. How many of you showed up yesterday? Yep, Carol, I see you. Ivy, I see you. Who else joined here? Based in Abidjan, but from Kenya. Karibu, Rose, too. Celine, today's the first one that you're here, so you missed yesterday's. Awesome. Karibuni sana. So this is sort of like we're rounding everything up from what we did yesterday. Who's this? Shirley on Instagram is Stu. This is your first time that you're joining us. You guys, everybody, karibuni sana. Welcome, welcome. Like really excited to take you through this class. So without further ado, quick housekeeping tips. Please be present. Turn off all your phones, notifications, because you've chosen to spend the next 1 hour together. Please take time making sure you are present. Write your notes. If you have a big aha moment, put it down. If something like lands or you feel something has come in and it's like landed differently, I want you to put that down, because that just means there's something there that is connecting and there's something there that you need to follow. So never miss those nudges. Any nudge that you ever feel whenever you're talking to somebody or like you're in this class, that's a nudge of something that you need to look into. So do not hesitate to write those down, because all that means is the window of opportunity has just opened up for you. And all it means is this was the moment you meant to be here, and you are meant to hear what you heard. The rest now is up to you. If you take action, that's on you. But me, my job is to serve you. And my job is to give you the best tools that I have that are going to help you on your journey. Because I know the journey that you're on is a journey that I've been on. So I know the struggles that you may be going through. And I know that even as I was on my own journey, once I had any nudge that I felt, I followed that nudge. You know, for a lot of us, we're always expecting this big thing at once. No, it always comes in the form of crumbs. And once you see that crumb, you just keep on following the crumbs until the whole bread is made up. And why am I using that bread analogy? Like, where did that even come from? Because that was not even planned. Anyway, let me share my screen and we can get started. Now, if you missed yesterday's class, today is a carryover over what we had yesterday, but a quick rundown of yesterday's class. Essentially, we talked about the strategies for helping you lose weight and lose weight sustainably. We talked about the steps that you would need to make. We talked about the ingredients that cause change. Usually, the effects are visible, but the cause is usually hidden. The effects are visible, but the cause is hidden. The effect is we look at the weight. We can see that we've gained the weight, but the cause of why that is for most people is hidden. And I went on to tell you that the reason why a lot of diets don't work, and I backed it up with statistics, is because studies have shown for most women, they will gain the weight that they've lost because they have not worked on what's underneath the surface. And once you work on what's underneath the surface, that is when true transformation happens. And we went through the couple of the path that takes you through your transformation. You all remember the triangle that we came up with that talks about your environment. We talk about your behaviors, your skills, your capabilities, your beliefs, your identity. Because once you begin to focus on the things at the very top, that's when you begin to see your change. And I made the case why diets will not work and have not worked because there's history to back it up. For years, women have been trying to lose weight. And why have they not been able to do that? There's someone who asked a question, I believe actually was Ivy who asked the question. I said meal plans do not work. Counting calories for a lot of us busy women, especially if you're 35 and above, you have a lot of competing priorities. You have work, you have your kids, you have school, you have your career, you have family, you have all these issues that you're working on. And the last thing that you want to add on top of everything that's going on is counting your meals, counting calories, measuring foods, going on super restrictive plans. Because what's going to happen if you're 35 and above, because your body is already changing, what's going to happen is you're actually going to work against your body when you follow those restrictive plans. You're going to work against your body because you're doing something that is not sustainable. And so the case that I made was for you to really begin to consider who you want to become moving forward. Because the strategies that are going to help you lose weight in your 30, when you're 35 and above, are completely different. I gave you my story, how perimenopause just hit me from nowhere. I wasn't aware of it. In fact, we continue to learn more about perimenopause. In fact, I always give this story. So one of our friends always tells us that there's, you know how there's Generation X, there's baby boomers, millennials, Gen Xers, Gen Alphas, etc. So it looks like, so I work with a lot of millennials, clearly. Like that's like my biggest group. And my friend was saying Gen Xers, I'm a Gen Xer, they have not made any dent in the world. Like they haven't been, they haven't done anything substantive, in the world to like come and cause this seismic shift that we are seeing from millennials with online and mental health, Gen Zs with please disrupting everything. Gen Xers that we're just there like doing what? But let me tell you something. Let me tell you what we're doing. You see, perimenopause, you know who's really making noise about it? It's us. We are like, what in the world? Why did nobody tell us about this? Why is there no information about it? So we are sort of like the guinea pigs who are really demystifying it and talking about it casually because it is another evolution of women. Anyway, I don't know, I digress. But that's what we talked about yesterday. And then finally, we talked about ensuring that you're not leaning on fear as your advisor when you're making any decisions. Because whenever you lean on fear as your advisor, you will always make the wrong choices. In fact, I'm going to teach in a little bit on that today so that you can really get to understand even how I coach, and you're going to understand the why behind why I coach the way I coach and why we tend to see some amazing results with our women. All right, so today's class, I hope that's been a good summary. For those of you that, let me share my screen, share. Whoa, share. I don't know, it's, okay, there we go. Boom. Let's go to here. And slideshow. Awesome. There we go. Let me drop that. All right. For those of you that do not know me, so we're talking about losing, if you have 15 kilos or more or 30 pounds or more that you want to lose sustainably, you are in the right space. Why? Because we want you to have your best body yet. And the reason for that is I know most of us women struggle with belly fat. We struggle with low energy. We struggle with a lack of sleep. We're struggling with lack of sleep. We struggle with cravings, like an increase of cravings. So there's all these different things that we're struggling with. But I do believe once you get to lose that weight, your body is going to change significantly. You're going to have better energy, reduced cravings, better bathroom bowel movements. You're going to be able to sleep better. Joint aches are going to reduce, not even reduce, like literally go away. You're going to hear from one of the ladies who's going to say how she's like shocked her joint aches are gone. So nothing good happens when we gain weight. Let's just put it that way. Like, let's just be real. If anything, we begin to age faster. But I also recognize in the system that we live in, I understand the food system, I understand the marketing. Like I understand all the things that the food industry, the diet industry, the marketers are doing to help us to eat more because they're focused on making more money. And what I want to show you is you literally don't have to follow that path to be able to lose that weight sustainably. I am a nutrition coach, I am a fitness coach, I am a wellness coach, and I help women lose weight without dieting. The idea is to help you create a healthy and a sustainable lifestyle. Psychology is my background, nutrition is my background, and I started this because I needed to lose my own 30 pounds. This was 2 decades ago when I was 20, 2 decades plus a year, when I was 29 years old. I also had a diagnosis of high cholesterol, and I needed to reduce that because for me, it was very important to raise my children. I needed to be healthy. I needed to raise my children in a healthy environment. That was really important for me. So when I started this journey, it was first for myself to become healthy. Then I realized, wait, what I'm doing is actually impacting my children. So I wanted to spread those habits over to my children. Then I learned that we carry, my dad's side of the family, high cholesterol. And I was like, okay, now that it's very clear, we are not going, this is not going to be our story. We're going to end high cholesterol in my family. And that's what I've been doing. Then on top of that, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to help other women. I am going to help other women because I have seen, I have tried dieting, I have tried measuring, I have tried counting, I have tried all these things. And for me, in my brain, they were too, it was just frustrating. It was just too much work, actually. And in as much as I wanted to look like the before and after pictures that I'd seen, the process of getting there for me needed to be something I could do sustainably. And so that's what I've figured out over the last 15 years as I've been working with women. I have tweaked, I have adapted, I have shifted the process until I have figured something that I believe is what can get you results like you see here. These are clients that I've worked with long term, longer term. 6 months, even longer, to give them results like this. Someone like Yvonne losing up 40 kilos, over 80 pounds, has kept it off over the last 5 years. Sharon Mundia, who I've worked with every so often, has lost her weight. And I want you to hear from Vanessa, who I also worked with for a year, and I want you to hear her story for herself.
The skeptical Vanessa was, you've tried different things, you've restricted diet, you've tried movement, and nothing seems to work. Maybe you just accept yourself the way you are. But then the positive me was like, no, if other people are able to do it, why not me?
Once you start putting in the work, what do you begin to notice inside your body? What are the things you begin to notice?
So the first thing I noticed was, surprisingly, my knee pain disappeared.
Wow.
Surprisingly, it just went away, and to date, I don't have that knee pain. And it had gotten so bad, I couldn't even go up a flight of stairs comfortably, or even go down a flight of stairs comfortably at energy levels. Mm-hmm. So previously, I was always, so it will get to around midday, and I'm probably dealing with a headache, fatigue, foggy brain. Yeah. So yeah, that clarity of thoughts throughout the day, it has gotten better. By the end of the 6 weeks, I was a completely different person. Change, apart from feeling it, I could now see the physical change, because even my clothes were fitting a little better than they were, and I was feeling lighter, happier. I don't know, like there's a certain happiness that comes with weight loss.
And honestly, this is what I want everybody to see. Now, that picture, though, is her 6-month transformation, but you can see the change that happened over 6 weeks that when we started the program. And so anything of value is going to take time. And so the first question that I have for you is, how will you use your time to transform your body? This is a question. Remember, this is a workshop, so I want it to be very interactive. How are you going to use your time to transform your body? Because anything of value is going to require time. What are you willing to trade? Because anything that you want to achieve is going to require some form of trade. What are you willing to let go of? And what are you willing to invest in? Because in order for you to transform and in order for you to change, these are some key questions that you want to ask yourself. And the reason why we ask these questions and I go at it this way is because you really need to understand that everything that needs to shift, the shift is always going to come from within you. The shift always comes from within. All I do is ask you questions and I prod you and I guide you and I show you. Sharon, we have someone that needs to be admitted and I don't know why my laptop would not admit. Okay, thank you. So what are you willing to invest in? What are you willing to let go of? And these are key questions that are so important for you to ask because anything that you're going to work on is going to require you to take some time. And so I have two circles here on the screen. And I want you to write on the very first circle, what do you want for yourself? And if you can go on the chat box, you can write for me right now, what is your desired outcome? What is this thing that you truly want for yourself? And I want you to think through very clearly. And maybe for some people, I usually, by the way, for me, I always start with what I do not desire, and that's the next circle. And I put down all the things I do not like, and that kind of gives me an opposite of, oh, yeah, I don't want that. I kind of want this. Make sense? So I want you to write that down. And why are we doing this? Because what I want you to do is I want you to understand that the minute you command your brain and you show your brain what you want, and you're focused on the very thing that you desire strongly, what happens? You activate a part of your brain known as the reticular activating system, the RAS. And when that part of your brain gets activated, do you know what happens? You begin to notice all the things in your desired column. And why is this important? Why is this important for you to be able to recognize and to begin to notice those things? Because if you remember yesterday what I said, we always act from a place of our emotions. And our emotions always come from our thoughts. If you therefore have put a desire out into the atmosphere and a desire deep within you, you know what happens when you say that this is what you want? You begin to notice all those things within other people. You begin to notice size 8 people. You begin to notice someone who's very alert. You begin to notice someone who is running up and down the stairs without complaining. You begin to notice people who are eating throughout the day and they're just eating healthy foods. You begin to notice all the things that you don't desire. When you focus on the things that you desire, you begin to notice them within other people. And then guess what happens with that? This is now the part we're going to be working on. Instead of comparing, instead of becoming jealous, instead of putting other people down, when we see what other people have, what happens within you, you begin to then self-reflect and you say, that is simply a reflection within me of something I strongly desire. And it therefore means because there's this gap from desire to undesired outcome, there's a gap. How do I bridge this gap? What are the steps that I need to take to bridge this gap? Because the minute you start to take those steps that are bridging the gap, you will reach that desire, whatever that desire is for you. And so if weight loss is a desire, if energy, strong energy is a desire. In fact, the other day I'd gone to see my therapist and I remember as I was walking up the stairs, I saw this young kid and he was running, he was running up the stairs. So I've gotten better. I've even counted them 165 steps because I usually park in the basement and then I start going up 165. When I think it must have been the second or third floor. I see this kid just coming through and he literally was just, he was like a prance, like a prance, like a horse. He was like galloping on the stairs. And I remember thinking, dang, I want to do that. And so I actually pranced with him. I got breathless and like him who just kept on going. Honestly, it was just like, it was beautiful. But that's for me is a desire because I know there are those moments when I used to climb up a lot of stairs and I would not get exhausted. So what happens is when you see your desire and you focus on your desire, your brain begins to shift there. And that's why I want you to write these things down, because I want you to now focus on exactly what it is that you want. And if you do not have the desired body or lifestyle that you want, it's very simple. You haven't yet, and I want you to underline that word, yet, become the person you need to be. That's all that it means. You just haven't yet become the person you need to be. But if you desire, this is what I want to let you know. It's already within you. It's there. All you're doing is we're now beginning to try and understand what are the blockages that have been holding you and what's causing you to get stuck, because there's this deep thing within you that you want to achieve so badly. So what I need you to know, and I need you to internalize this, that it's already there. Like you already have it. And the minute you make the decision to do the work, the minute you decide, you've already reached. It's now simply a matter of time to actually see it, but it's already been achieved. And I need you to hear me and get that so clearly, that the minute you make the decision, who you're going to show up as, who you're going to become, the decision has already, it's already been done. Because the minute you tap into that girl and you say, fine, we're done, we are cutting all other options, we're no longer going to go through shortcuts, I am willing to do everything in my power to become this version of me. And I will tell you what happens in between. What is happening in between with the roadblocks, with the fear, with being stuck, it's simply another version of you that's within, that's simply been revealed of something that you need to work on within yourself, because that's what's getting you stuck. That's what's getting you stuck. And so the first thing you ask yourself is, how do I go at this journey? How do I go at it? The first thing I want you to recognize, and I've seen this with most of my clients, is you always start with the end in mind. With the end in mind first, always. Go to the very end. Who are you? What do you see? That end version of you, how does she act? How does she look like? Who do you want to become? And the minute you start with the end in mind, the next thing you do, and I'll tell you right now, you must become her now. You start acting like that girl now. You don't wait to have the weight loss to become the version you want to become. It doesn't work that way. You become that version of her now, and then you work at gaining and doing the actions so that you can have what it is that you desire. But for most people, what they say is, no, first give me the things I need. Let me have them first. And that is the wrong approach. Anyone who's ever done that, in fact, think about it. Look at the people who have won lotteries, and they've won millions and millions of shillings or dollars. What happens? Most of those people end up almost all of them become broke within literally within 3 years. Why? They didn't become who they needed to become. And that is the work that you would need to do. You always start with the end in mind.
The way at some point I had so much going on in my life.
This is Angie, so I want you to play her story, and we're going to start from here.
I trained, the more I added the weight, and I just couldn't figure out how to go about it. So that's when now I had to seek someone's help, a professional's help, to tell me, okay, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Because I'm eating healthy, I'm onto these health juices and smoothies. So what is it? Why can I'm constant at the gym. So why can't I lose the weight? I needed to move now from the size 14 that I was getting into up to my size 10. So that's how now I had to seek help. So how I heard about Coach Roseanne is there was another program we were doing with a friend of mine on image and personal branding, and she was there talking about health and nutrition. And from there, that's when I started following her on Instagram, and I checked on now how she was doing. But I just kept checking. There was nothing I was doing about it. And I was like, okay, it looks good, but not for me. I'm fine. My size is just okay. Then I kept following and checking on what she's posting. But then at this point, when I really needed help, because I realized I'm not able to lose weight on my own, I was like, okay, let me reach out and see what she's got. So I joined Hey Sugar, and at first I was skeptical about it, of course, because I'm like, what is it you're teaching me that I don't know about? So I'm just observing, a bit skeptical, and but I follow the advice. I changed the way I'm eating. Then I'm
Sorry,
like,
can you
okay,
guys see the
it's
screen?
not so much
Wait.
different from how I'm eating. I just need to change a thing, tune in a bit of my
Share your screen, Roseanne.
I keep changing and listening and changing, and I joined all the Zoom coaching calls. And within, I think, a span of what, 4 weeks, you
Okay, have you heard anything? Were you seeing anything? I feel like it just
Yes,
got
it
off the screen.
started, then it dropped. It started, then it dropped.
We
Just
didn't hear
rewind.
much.
Huh?
We didn't hear much.
Yeah, we could
Oh, you
hear.
guys, it went for a minute. Tim, please.
We had.
No, it
Okay,
just
okay.
dropped.
We
It
were
just
hearing,
dropped
but
when
no
you
just
thing.
couldn't
had
figure
it.
out
Just
how
rewind
to
a bit.
go about it. So that's when now I had to seek someone's help, a professional's help, to tell me, okay, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Because I'm eating healthy, I'm onto these healthy juices and smoothies. So what is it? Why can I'm constant at the gym. So why can't I lose the weight? I needed to move now from the size 14 that I was getting into back to my size 10. So that's how now I had to seek help. So how I heard about Coach Roseanne is there was another program we were doing with a friend of mine on image and personal branding, and she was there talking about health and nutrition. And from there, that's when I started following her on Instagram, and I checked on how she was doing. But I just kept checking. There was nothing I was doing about it. And I was like, okay, it looks good, but not for me. I'm fine. My size is just okay. Then I kept following and checking on what she's posting. But then at this point, when I really needed help, because I realized I'm not able to lose weight on my own, I was like, okay, let me reach out and see what she's got. So I joined Hey Sugar. And at first I was skeptical about it, of course, because I'm like, what is it you're teaching me that I don't know about? So I'm just observing, a bit skeptical, and but I follow the advice. I change the way I'm eating. Then I'm like, okay, it's not so much different from how I'm eating. I just need to change a thing, tune in a bit of my feeding habits. And I keep changing and listening and changing, and I joined all the Zoom coaching calls. And within, I think, a span of 4 weeks, you told us to take our measurements. Well, my measurements, I took them much later because, doubting Thomas. So I check my measurements. I'm like, okay, let me take my measurements. So after 2 weeks, we take the measurements and like, wait, I'm actually losing inches. Are you sure? In a span of 6-7 weeks, I was able to move now from the size 14 that I was at back to my size 10-12. So one of the days I go for a shoot, and as usual, they have my size 12-14 prepared for me, all ironed. I wear the first one, it doesn't fit me, it's loose. I wear the second one, I'm like, guys, wait up, wait. I'm no longer size 12-14. I'm back to my 10, and I'm like, yes, it actually works.
Awesome. And so that's Angie, and that was her transformation, where she moved from size 14 to 10, and continued on, and we continued to work up until the next program, until the next when she signed up for Hello Gato HSLM, because we've had several. And so these are some of the results or the things that you can get. So what I want you to recognize is there are phases of your transformation. Oops. Can you see my screen? No.
Not yet. We can't see your screen.
Zoom. Okay. No. Share. Okay. So couple of phases in your transformation. Phase 1, and what I want you to recognize is that most of us could get stuck in one of those phases. So let me know where you are as you're looking towards your transformation. The first phase is usually the challenge. The challenge is when you recognize, you recognize that a couple of things are going on. I've actually seen Flavia, you've just written there. You don't want to feel more knee pain or Um, oh, these things, man. I think I may have to drop off Instagram so that this thing can work. I don't know why just give me 1 second. I think I saw Flavia, it popped up where you're saying you're struggling with, I think, knee pain or panting or one of those things. So that you've already identified a challenge. So the first thing that happens is each one of us is going to identify or notice a challenge that is happening within our bodies. So you may notice, yeah, I've just noticed I'm not sleeping enough. You may notice you sleep, but then you still wake up exhausted. You may notice that in the office, you're sluggish. Like a lunch hour, it's like, man, you can't even focus. That's a challenge. You may notice when you walk up the stairs, you're panting. I mean, literally in my own house, I would climb those stairs and I would stop at the landing space to just catch my breath in my own house. That was a challenge. I would wear my high heels because your girl loves a nice high heel. I would wear high heels and my knees would hurt. That's a challenge. Lower back ache. That's a challenge. So phases of transformation, first thing we notice is a challenge. We recognize something happens. And then something tends to trigger us. Like we get that trigger and you're like, okay, now we really need to do something because we now really become aware how it's affecting our lives. The challenge starts and it's almost like a signal, ding, ding, ding. But then the next thing that happens is you become aware how it's beginning to affect your life. And this is the thing with weight and gaining weight and obesity. The thing with it is, if you don't catch these small challenges early, and even when you become aware and you don't do anything, it's one of those things that eats at you very slowly, very slowly. It numbs you to the pain. You can take pills. You know the world that we're living in, right? Anyway, then you become aware and you become aware of how it's beginning to affect you. Maybe for you, you feel like you're not strong enough the way you used to be strong. Maybe you realize you can't climb those stairs as agile the way you used to be agile, like you used to be before. You realize when you play with your kids, you're getting breathless. You realize when you have sex with your partner, it's like, you're getting tired. That used to be me, right? So you become aware of how your weight is beginning to affect you. And then trigger happens and it's like, all right, let's prepare. Let's do something about this. Let's do something. Because now when you want to do something, it's because you recognize this version of you that's beginning to creep up. We do not like this version. We got to do something about it. And the fact that you're here in itself, you're most likely in the preparation or the action stage where you're now taking the right actions that are going to help you on your transformation. So please let me know which of these stages are you in. Because in order for you to transform, it's also really important to know what stage you're on so that you're not always constantly there. I always tell my girls, even when they lose weight, like someone like Vanessa, in fact, one of the things she said was, yeah, weight is not something I think about anymore. So she no longer identifies as someone who is losing weight. So even these phases of your transformation, it's really important to know where you are. You know what that does is it helps you narrow down and you never feel like, oh, I have the challenge, I'm aware. No, now you know you're in the preparation or in the action stage, which means the minute you move your brain and your mind to, this is not a challenge because we are working, like it's a different challenge now that we've picked up. And the different challenge is to get rid of this version of me that has come up. Make sense? And so actions is where I find a lot of people make the biggest mistake. And I'll tell you why. Because we act from a place of fear. We act from a place of worry. We act from a place of fear, of worry, of shame. We get angry, and anytime we're going to take actions based on that state of being, you will always act afraid. You will always take actions that are full of fear, that are full of worry. And that is the reason why, I'm going ahead of myself, it's actually in here. That is why you will jump into a quick diet to help you fix. And let me talk about it as I move to the next slide because it's coming up. And so I want you to tell me, next slide, who are the 2 to 3 people you look up to for their health and wellness. Please go to my chat box, and if you're on Instagram, let me know who are 2 to 3 people you look up to because of their wellness and health. Those are my 3. I love Michelle, I love Viola, and J-Lo. For their health and wellness, they're the 3 women I look up to. And I'll give you my criteria. I always look at a lifestyle that I can sustain. And I always look at women who are older than me because it shows me what's possible. That's my criteria. And that's why I have Michelle, Viola, and J-Lo, because they're all older than me. And I can see what's possible. So let me know who are, and it's okay. You don't have to use my criteria. Neither should that influence whoever you look up to. But I will tell you something, because we are, if you're 35 and above, you definitely want to not look at the younger ones, especially you need to look at people who have kids, who have your lifestyle, who are busy. You need to see who are these people who are juggling, who have similar lifestyles like yours, so that you can see what are the things that you would need to do, right? So let me see, who do you have of someone that you look up to? I'd like to see in the chat. This chat box of mine, man. This, Zoom and AI, sijui what? Okay, I can't see. Dorcas, maybe you can read for me. I'd love to read a couple of those names. Or Sharon. Who do you guys look up to? Let me know.
I have Brenda saying my friend Kirigo and my mother.
Love.
Yeah, I also have someone saying Coach Roseanne and Hannah Gichuki.
Oh, that's my girl, Miss Hannah. Yes.
I'm seeing Caroline Jivens and Murugi Munyi.
Yes.
There's Tracy Ellis Ross, Sharon Mundia, Tabitha Brown, Sheila Mwanyiga, Michelle Mtalami, Lydia
Yes.
Kim, Murugi Munyi.
Yes.
Those are the responses that are coming
I've actually
in.
worked with some of those girls. I
Michelle
love it.
Adagala, Caroline Mushoki. Yeah.
Love, 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 love. Okay, next. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about those people. Here we go. Why do you follow them? Please write it down why you follow them. What exactly about them do you like that you follow them? What is it that they do that you're not doing? What do you think you're missing in your lifestyle that they're doing, but you're not doing? Because if most of you who were here yesterday said we had any people who wanted to lose weight anywhere from 5 kilos all the way to 30 kilos, but a majority were between 10 and 20 kilos yesterday. So if you have that amount of weight to lose, in fact, if you're new today, how much weight do you want to lose? Just put it down in the chat box. Because there's something that you see in them, like I said in the beginning, that resonates within you. And what is it that you're not doing that they're doing?
Some responses have come in. I'm seeing they're consistent and intentionality. I also see someone saying continuously seeking excellence and working on being better. Compete with who they were and not everyone else. So mindful, healthy eating, consistent workout. Those are some of the reasons.
Mindful, I love that. And what would you say you are missing? Go to the chat box. What are you missing? And as you do that, I want you to notice, I brought this back again, because you cannot bake a carrot cake with just carrots. You really must use and look at all the ingredients. And if one's missing, you will not have a carrot cake. And it's the same thing with your transformation. Anytime you skip a step in your transformation, you will not have the results that you desire. And the cause of that is hidden, but the effects are visible because we all have blind spots. I want you to hear from one of our other clients here.
Leah, another struggle is, oh my God, ice cream. I used to eat a lot of ice cream. My mental state was not struggle. Was I had a lot of issues at home. So I had my mental state was not okay. Like, I cannot say I was depressed, but I think I was headed there. Another struggle is, oh my God, ice cream. I used to eat a lot of ice cream, cookies and cream, French vanilla. I'm sure they realized they lost a client, but yeah, those are my biggest struggles. Yeah, my dieting was pathetic. Yeah, 25 kgs. But in the year 2014, I got my first baby.
Okay.
And before that, I used to be like between 70 and 75 kgs. But after this first boy, I ballooned to 116. Reason being, I used to eat for two. So I eat for myself and for the baby. Then after delivery, I tried gymming. I tried all those diets that we find online. I lost about 16 kgs. I was at 100. So in 2016, I got baby number 2.
Okay.
I was back to 117 kilos. Same thing of eating for two. So, but by the time I was getting my baby number 2, I had issues in my marriage. I was depressed. So I used to eat a lot. I used to take a lot of ice cream to cool me down. So I was stressed. I was gaining weight. I could not even feed my baby. Then the year 2017, when this boy was like 5 months, I got a divorce. So from then on, breastfeeding, of course, I went back home to my parents and they would give me a lot of food all the time. You know, you're breastfeeding, you have to eat and all those things. So my weight, so I stagnated at 117 for quite a while. So gym wasn't working. I tried many diets, not working. And when I joined Hey Sugar, I came to realize actually it's because my mental state was unstable. My dieting was pathetic. Gym, I was consistent, but it wasn't working. So I had no balance at that. Then in the year 2020, I felt sick. I was rushed to hospital. I actually drove myself to hospital. And by the time I got there, my oxygen level was very low at 40%. So apparently I had 2 blood clots in my lungs, on my left lung. So luckily enough, I went through treatment, I got medication, then I ballooned even more because of the steroids I was taking and the diet. So after that, of course, I had no confidence. I could not even walk. My dresses were now tight, so I had to buy bigger clothes, size 20 at the time. I follow Sharon Mundia on Instagram, and I saw her post about Coach Roseanne. So I decided, okay, let me just try this. This would be my last trial. If it doesn't work, so be it. Maybe now I start saving for lipo and all that. So I joined Hey Sugar. And I'm thinking, this thing is too expensive for me with the inflation. I'm a single parent. But I said, you know what? It is for my own good. So I started the program and wow, you guys, from size 20, I am now wearing dresses size 16.
Wow. Okay, y'all. People, can we just look at that? She just graduated this season. She just graduated.
I hope you have heard her story, and I hope you've heard the journey that she's gone through, and I hope you can hear the struggles and what caused her to gain the weight. And if you hear a woman saying, "I was eating ice cream in my house," that problem, you know, the problem is not ice cream. Right?
Leah.
You know that problem is not ice cream. There's more to what's going on. And I do know that because I know a lot of women struggle with emotional eating. And emotional eating is simply a trigger of something bigger that is going on within your environment that triggers you within your body on the inside. She talked about her mental health, her emotional well-being. And for her, ice cream became the thing that used to calm her down and settle her down. Obviously, we worked on that. So what I want you to do, if you have ever identified as an emotional eater, as someone who uses food when you get triggered, when you have any problems, whether it's like someone like her, it was in her marriage, in her health, whether it's at work, too many competing priorities in your life, and you find that you use food. So I just have a couple of 3 questions. We go deeper once you get into the program to really help you understand where it's coming from, why it's there, and the things that you would need to do. So identify your triggers. When do you tend to overeat? Okay. What does the food give you in that moment? And what would a healthy version of you do in that situation if you are an emotional eater? I've shared the story of how when the girls were really young, someone came from, that time we were in Boston, and one of my, you know how when people visit from Kenya, you ask for Kenyan delicacies, like you want all the food from Kenya, you want flour, you want unga X, unga jogo, like those are the things that we would ask for. Cookies, chef does, just anything to connect you back to home. Anyway, someone brought us a budget pack cookies. That used to be my thing. You know, it's you guys know the budget pack cookies, right? That big thing. And it has 5 different types of cookies on the inside, right? Or like Marie, digestive, nice, shortcake, and another one. And anyway, so someone brought it for us. And I ate those cookies, right? I ate the cookies. Now, when my husband came from work, he knew the cookies had been delivered. So even him is like, hey, where are the cookies? I'm like, yeah, they were brought. And so he comes back and says, there are no cookies. I says, no, they're there. Do you guys know I literally finished an entire packet of budget pack within a day? Emotional eating. Without knowing, because you know cookies, number one, they don't fill you up. You guys know that. You'll just grab a couple in the morning, you know, the kids, the stress, the cookie, the joy, the everything. So I'm not telling you things that I didn't do. And that's the day that it dawned on me, oh my God, I actually have a problem. Because not only was I eating those cookies, I used to tell my husband every Friday, there's a cake place he used to pass through in Boston. I'm like, go to Auburn Plain and get me that chocolate cake. I mean, that thing was loaded, okay? So I noticed all the behaviors that I had incorporated into my lifestyle that had caused me to gain all that weight, that were causing me the joint aches. Because for me, I used to get very inflamed, and I would feel I would actually feel pain in my joints. So I recognize emotional eating. And if this is you, there's one thing that I want to emphasize here, that overwhelm is something that each one of us feels within our brain. We get overwhelmed. In fact, yesterday, one of the girls, you wrote in the chat box, like, oh my God, I have so much weight that I need to lose. And immediately I was like, she's overwhelmed. That's overwhelmed, because your brain immediately, what it's doing is you're thinking about all the weight that you need to lose. And what does that do? If you go to that extent of thinking, gosh, I have 30 pounds to lose, or 30 kilos to lose, or oh my God, I got so much 50 kilos to lose. You're either going to get scared, you're going to freeze, not do anything about it, you're going to fight it, you're going to say, I will do anything in my power to get rid of this. There's a form of excitement, fear, panic, scared. You could be sad, disappointment, or angry, right? But if you find yourself in this state, this is a state of dysregulation within your body. And this is what is going to cause you to now take actions that are either fearful actions, panicky actions, scared actions. And you will do I just need to do something to get rid of this weight as quickly as I can. I need you to imagine, I want you to put yourself in that mind frame where you're scared, where you're frantic, where you are, because that's also a form of excitement. And then what happens is you say, give me the quickest actions, the solutions, the quick ones. Hurry, hurry. Because they are based in fear and panic. And this is the wrong approach, because this approach will cause you to crash and burn. So anytime you feel overwhelmed and you begin to notice yourself being dysregulated within, it's your job now to ask, okay, overwhelm has visited me. Overwhelm is here. What is it instead asking me to do? And so when you feel overwhelmed, this is your invitation to pause, to reflect, and to map out a path that is sustainable. That's not going to be caused out of panic, because this is now an opportunity for you to grow, to learn, and to figure what are the habits that you can apply that are sustainable. Because really think about it. The way that we've gained this weight, remember what we said, it's been very gradual. So if it's been gradual, you can lose that weight, but you do not necessarily need to take drastic measures in a frantic manner. You still can be able to lose that weight and lose it sustainably, but most importantly, keep it off. And the minute you begin to work on regulating your system, sitting in on understanding what's going on with your emotions, understanding what's happening around your environment, once you begin to address those issues, this is now when you begin to have the capacity. Leah had the capacity because she addressed the issues that were going on at home. She has the capacity because in that state, you're less likely, once you have the capacity to now do the things that you need to do in a calm way, in a sustainable way, you're seeing the patterns coming, they're rising, they're going back. Now, guess what happens? You're most likely going to be able to take better actions. You're most likely going to be able to retain this information. You're most likely going to take the right actions because now your body is safe. Your body is safe to do the necessary work. You're no longer overwhelmed. You're no longer internally dysregulated. And once you let go of all the loads that you're carrying, because we've figured out the dysregulation, the emotional eating, the overwhelm that's going on within your lifestyle, we then identify you're a perfectionist. Are you the people who go hard on Monday and then over the weekend you let go? Once we get to understand all those things, you can now be able to breathe easy because you know everything. You now are in control and everything will work out because you know that your body is safe to do the work that needs to be done. Because the more you stay in that state of feeling frustrated, you're never going to be able to be in control of your body. And we talk about this mind-body connection. When you are disconnected, that's what's going to cause you not to be able to lose that weight and keep it off. And these hurried actions of quick diets, you see the results short term, but you're not able to keep them long term. That is why we've got to see what are the hidden causes that are going on for you. And so I want you to listen to Asia, who lost 20 kilos.
Yeah. How are you? And so, what can I say? Brainwashed, like things will work. But then now when you hear that someone here is telling you you can lose your weight and live healthily without having to restrict anything, you kind of feel like, what's the catch? You know? So, but then when I did Hey Sugar, I did the process because I went into Hey Sugar when I was 76 kilos. I lost 6 kilos by the end of the 7 weeks and 20 inches. And it was basically just doing the things because I had my goals, but I was just following the process day in, day out. I was just doing what I had to do. I was asking a lot of questions and learning a lot. And then by the end of Hey Sugar, I was also worried, like what Wanjiku was saying, like, okay, will I be able to go on? How am I going to do it? Will I, it's like, okay, now I'm left to myself. What's going to happen? But luckily, by the end of Hey Sugar, then Coach was launching the HSLM, which is the Hey Sugar Live Mindset, which deals mainly with just the mental aspect. Because in Hey Sugar, it was more the nutrition and a bit of mind and emotional. But now with the HSLM, it's mainly more on the mind, which then, of course, also plays a part with the emotions. And honestly, when I did finish Hey Sugar, before we joined HSLM in May, I did And even during HSLM, I kind of backtracked, went to the old habits because I wasn't, you can say, fully prepared in the mind mentally. But then with the HSLM, we deal with the mind. Why do you do what you do? What we go back to what always coach talks about, the beliefs, our stories that we tell ourselves, that we've always been having them, maybe some for years. And we deal with that. There's a lot of work that you personally have to do, introspecting, looking inside yourself and asking hard questions like, okay, having to face your inner self and wanting, then if you want to change, then of course you can change, because you need to accept, okay, this is where I am and this is what's happening. So this is what now I need to do. And I mean, coach and you guys just take us through the whole step. And as I'm talking, somebody might find like, wow, it is so huge. But though it's so huge, but the way, even in Hey Sugar, coach breaks it down to very simple and small steps, which then when you really look at it, you can do it. Like for me personally, this is 6 months now from the program when we started. And I have, if there's more than 360 degrees, I would say I've done that, because I used to have in fact, like 90% or all the time, I would always be so negative. I would criticize myself, procrastinate, be hard on myself, never take care of myself. But now I have learned, in fact, I learned this in Hey Sugar, like I need to put myself first. But with HSLM is where kind of I really drilled into it. And I have been able to come to know myself. And now I am so, even if I have bad days, I know how I can deal with it. I know how I can switch my mind and not let it like control me, but rather I can be the one to have that control.
Boom.
And then
there's obviously so much that she has to say, and she had some amazing results. And so with that, this is exactly what we are offering. And this is what I am going to be offering you guys. I'm so excited because over the last 1 year, I curated, actually in 2024, we made the decision to move in this direction based on what someone like Asia, Vanessa, Yvonne, Sharon, different clients that I've worked with over the years had said that while 6 weeks was a great foundation, while 6 weeks helped you with the habits, they felt they needed something longer, and they needed something that would really help these habits stick. And when we looked at all the clients that we'd worked with longer, we realized, by the way, there's something here. And if I'm being real, this program was supposed to launch last year in August. I'd actually put something out online that this is what was happening. And then life happened. And when life happens, you simply allow life to take its course. And one of the things my team kept asking me earlier this year, are you okay? I'm like, girls, like I'm good. And so what I want to do next is I want to show you what it is that we are going to be working on.
You see, so many women struggle with their weight, and there are many reasons as to why. And so let me ask you, are you sleeping enough? Do you find yourself waking up tired after a long night of sleep? Do you notice that you have low energy? Do you tend to crave sugary and processed foods? Have you noticed that your clothes are getting tighter, making you conscious of how you look? Have you and maybe thought about, dang, my hips are big, or you've thought, goodness gracious, my arms are so huge. Or maybe you've said, goodness, if I could just lose this belly fat. Do you find yourself using food to deal with the emotions that come up all day as you deal with your work, with your kids, with your family, with your financial issues because you are just stressed? And do you keep losing the same weight over and over? Now, if you've said yes to any of these, you are in the right place and this is for you. Now, after working with women for over a decade plus, what I'm about to share with you could literally change the trajectory of your life for the better. And what I have found shocking is that many women don't even know what you're about to learn. They think that the people who lose weight and keep it off are those who seem not to struggle with, or those who seem not to struggle with their weight is because they have better genes, or it's just because they're different. And over the years, what we've seen is women can lose up to 50 kilos and keep it off sustainably. And I've always wondered, what makes one woman successful and the other one continues to struggle? And so over the years, I've tweaked and perfected the method that we use to help our women, and they've become very successful. And I've used the same method on my one-on-one clients who we've worked together for 6 months, and their results have also been incredible. People like Yvonne, who you see on the screen, who's lost over 40 kilos, 80 pounds in 1 year without painful restrictions, measuring, counting calories, not eliminating her favorite foods or traditional foods, or do any extreme diets. And I truly believe we've cracked the code, and I'm excited to share this with you. And so I'm looking for a few women I want to mentor and work closely with over the next couple of months to create as many success stories as possible inside the She Rises Beyond Weight Loss program. Now, this group is completely different from anything that you've seen online before because it's been built by real women who most likely are similar to you. They have this busy lifestyle, they've gained the weight, and they want to lose that stubborn weight. And what's great, it's been proven to work in less than 20 minutes a day. Now, you see, over the last couple of months, we've been working closely with these women, and their results have been absolutely amazing. As you can see on the screen, we've been able to get incredible feedback from our students on how fast they've been able to build new habits and the drama of dieting, and they've been able to save a lot of time and create healthy and sustainable lifestyle habits. So let me dive in and show you exactly what it is that we're going to be working on. Because once you understand that the program is sustainable due to the ease of the application, it's going to fit right into your unique lifestyle without anything that is going to cause you to expend any excess energy to it. This proven, time-tested, upgraded framework will help you lose the weight and keep it off sustainably. And you're going to have the best practices that I have learned, and it's going to give you your own amazing results. In my opinion, this method works because many of the women who've come back to us have told us how it has changed their lives for the better. They've said things like it's brought a lot of freedom into their lives. They've said things like, gosh, I'm so peaceful because I now know exactly what it is that I need to do. I understand my body better. I know how to implement it without the mental hustle of feeling guilty or eating differently from my family. I don't have to cook 2 different meals. They've said they've learned so much they cannot even begin to start because they can see how this lifestyle is sustainable and it's truly simple. Now, this She Rise program is a 6-month membership where we're going to focus on 4 key pillars. Mindset. That's the first pillar. And this is the foundation because I truly believe that most women don't fail at weight loss. They fail at self-trust. You know what to do, but you don't stay consistent. And so the question is, why is that? Why are you not able to stay consistent? It's because your beliefs, your inner dialogue, your identity are still running on that old program. So at She Rise Beyond Weight Loss program, it's not about motivating you. It's about helping you build trust between you and your body, your mind and your body. When your mind stops fighting you, everything is going to become easier. The second pillar is nutrition. You don't need another diet. You need a simple, doable system that fits your unique lifestyle and your unique body. We're going to remove all the food fear. No weigh-in, counting, or restrictions. Just a sensible approach for your busy lifestyle and your unique body. We're going to simplify this rather than add something overwhelming on your to-do list. Our third pillar is movement. because your body keeps score. And what I've said for years is that inner weight, the outer weight that we see, is a result of that inner weight. And so the body is simply asking for care, not punishment. So we're going to incorporate movement that fits your stage of life, whether you're breastfeeding mom, whether you're traveling, whether you're in hardship areas, we've got you covered. And the fourth pillar is the safety switch. This is our secret sauce, and it's one that a lot of weight loss programs miss. And I believe this for us is what has made everything click. A stressed body is going to hold on to weight, even if you eat right, even if you work out. There's no shortcuts around this. We're going to teach you how to work with your body, how to calm your body, because your mind and your body are not separate. So when both feel safe, your weight loss is going to finally start working. I'm really excited about this. Now, in addition to all of this, you're going to access our weekly coaching calls from the entire 6 months that we're going to be together, because we know how important it is for you to have someone in your corner who can help you troubleshoot if you have any issues. We're going to help you stay on track, keep making progress week by week. We're going to be there to hold your hand to answer all the questions that you may have. And you're not only just getting those weekly calls for those 6 months, but you're also going to be getting access to daily accountability. So this doesn't become another program that just collects dust on the shelf. No, our promise is to do everything possible on our end to help you get your results. And part of that is making sure that you never fall off track. We're going to help you build consistent routines. And in just the first week of joining, you will begin to see results. And in 30 days, you're going to be able to create habits that are going to help you create a healthy and a sustainable habit, doable habits. But you must promise to show up for yourself each and every day. You're also going to gain access to a community where all the women who are in the same journey as you are going to be a part of, because we know that the best support often comes from people who get it. And so our She Rises Beyond Weight Loss community is designed to give you that space to share ideas, to ask questions, to get encouragement, and to know that you are not alone. Now, over the years, I've coached thousands of women, and I've done psychology for my undergraduate, and I continue to incorporate what I've learned into my coaching practices. I've invested thousands of dollars to improve my skills, my education, to become a better coach. So I promise to apply all that knowledge and the best practices that I've gotten to help you succeed on your own journey. Now, I've made the process simple because I know what it means to carry excess weight and to be having this busy lifestyle. And I don't want you to be bogged down by extra to-do lists because you already have so much to do. And so what I've done is I've curated a program that is easy and doable in a simple and sustainable step-by-step process. We're going to give you the tools needed to succeed, from trackers, from recipe ideas, from workout plans, regulation tools. I want you to think of this as your one-stop shop for your total transformation for you to succeed. Now, what's cool is that this system has worked with all types of women from all around the world. And their results is exactly what you're seeing here on the screen. And these are possible for you. Myself and my co-coaches are going to be here guiding you along the journey to show you what is possible. And I know as long as you show up for yourself, you will become the next success story. And so Vanessa used our system to lose 25 kilos or about 50 pounds. And she says she has so much energy. She's able to do things that she's always wanted to do with ease. For instance, go dancing, go hiking without losing her energy, her breath. She's able to eat wholesome meals. But most importantly, she's able to use her Sparker method that has helped her understand her mind and her body, because those two are connected and those two can drive your habits. And once they drive your habits, they drive your actions. So that has helped Vanessa. Nyambura has said she's no longer bloated and she's able to learn how to create a sustainable lifestyle while juggling her busy career. These transformations and more are the same transformations that are absolutely possible for you, because once you apply the steps and the principles that we teach, you're going to see how easy it is for you to not just drop that weight, but to have that mind-body connection so that you're no longer emotionally eating. And this is what you should expect as a busy woman, because results like this, yes, are very possible. You're no longer going to have to worry about what to eat, how to navigate life, because you are going to get the tools that are going to help you navigate your life, navigate your mind, navigate your nutrition, navigate your body. You're going to become the driver of your life with a new level of awareness and growth. And this is what I want you to know, that each one of us, we have those silent drivers in our lives that have led our lives to where we currently are thus far. And we are going to be able to identify them if we do not like the way the result of our life is currently. So once we identify those, we're going to create a new path for you to begin to take new actions, which is going to give you new results. And these new results you're going to be proud of. Now, I know there's a part of you that's most likely scared, most likely offline, and there's a part of you that is nervous and scared about what it is that you could be doing. And I want to let you know that in the She Rise Beyond Weight Loss program, we will make sure that these invisible forces that are running your life, we're going to bring them online if they're offline, so that they're no longer running your life and you're no longer moving in your life asleep, so that you become awake to these underlying forces. And once you become aware of them, my goodness, what a beautiful life that's ahead of you. Because once you make the commitment and the decision to change, your change has already happened. And I'm excited for you. And by the way, we've got your back covered on everything. So no matter if you've struggled with your weight for years, we're going to help you build a system that actually works. We are not leaving any stone unturned. We are doing this together. You're not going to be doing this alone. And the women that have been in this program have said that. That's one of the best things, that we work with them. And you can be confident. And this is what I want you to know, that you can become this confident, calm woman who knows exactly what to do to drop the weight. Yes, you're going to know exactly what to do. You're going to have the freedom to know exactly how your body is responding, so that you can respond to all the emotional triggers that cause your overeating. You're going to know exactly how to eat for your unique body and your unique lifestyle. You're going to know the movements that you need to apply based on the stage of life that you're in. You're going to understand the safety switch mechanism that is going to turn off these old patterns that have been blocking you. And what you're going to see is that once you begin to rise unapologetically, you are going to be able to identify those sneaky monsters that have been driving your life underneath the surface. Once we make the unknown known, that is when your life